Welcome to the Post-Purchase Pro Podcast.
This is the only podcast that dives deep into post-purchase marketing to help Amazon sellers increase sales, ranking, reviews, and profits. It's everything that happens after the initial sale that makes a difference. We call this the back end. The back end indeed, Seth Stevens of Post-Purchase Pro. My name is Sean Hart, one of your co-hosts. And speaking of back end, Seth, I just walked through the house yesterday and saw my wife watching the documentary on Kim Kardashian. Talk about a back end.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, let's jump into the show, Sean. Today we have a very special guest. As always, I love bringing on different entrepreneurs, and today we're going to be digging into the world of logistics from somebody who knows it inside and out. I want to welcome to the show Mr. Amit Rosenthal.
Welcome, Amit.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you. It wasn't easy, but you managed to do it well.
We're going to pick on you for the next 20 minutes or so. So I hope you're a good sport.
Yeah. No worries.
So, Amit, let's start at the beginning and dig into, how did you get into the world of logistics, and specifically, how are you helping Amazon sellers, make more profit, save money, get their shipments to FBA faster and more efficiently? So if you don't mind, start at the beginning.
Yeah, so that's a big question to answer in one sentence, but let's start with the beginning. So basically, I was born and raised into logistics since I was a baby. Like my grandfather had like a trucking company in Israel, so I'm originally born in Israel. So my grandfather, I think in 1937, it's like 80 years ago or 85 years ago, had a trucking company in Israel. He had the permission of Shell company to deliver like gas and oil here in Israel. And like when I was born, like really one of the first thing I remember myself is like driving a truck with like some truck drivers of my father. Later on, like jumping quickly, we became we saw like my father sold the trucking company and built like international freight forwarding company. I joined the company in 2010 after my military service, my education. I studied cinema, which is a totally different subject, of course, from logistics. Came to there was in Israel there is a lot of small wars. I don't know even how to call it exactly. So there was a 1 month and a half that there was no TV shows, only news. So my brother, which also worked in the company, said, "Listen, Amit, we need you. I'm going to travel. Dad is not in the office. We need somebody that we can trust to sign the checks." So I went there, and since there, basically, I'm in the company. So moving forward on to 2017, we got a rumor from a friend of us, which is also an Amazon seller, said, "Hey, there is a legit business here for freight forwarding for Amazon sellers." So me as an entrepreneur, I guess, I decided, all right, let's jump into the deep water, try to find a new customer or first customer. I didn't have no idea whatsoever. What does it mean to be an Amazon seller? What's the difference between shipping from China to US or specific to FBA center compared to shipping from, I don't know, China to Israel or for a wholesale or whatever. So it was quite hard to try to find the first customer, but let's say I did my due diligence on this customer specific, learned the material, and from there we just grow dramatically every year.
Nice.
More clients, more shipments, and it's become a own company now.
Right.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, Amit, this is going to be challenging to make the subject of logistics sound sexy. So we may have to tap into some of your cinema training to do that. So
for sure.
What correlates between learning, studying cinema and doing logistics, if anything?
Wow, what's a question? First one I ever get such question. I think creativity. So logistics eventually, it's quite simple. It's not simple process, but it's very order process, right? So you pick up the freight, you bring to a warehouse in any origin, you load the containers and so on. But eventually, when you're talking about logistics, it's all about solving problems, because every step through the logistics chain, something rather happened or will happen. So you really have to be like creative in terms of like solving problems, identify weak points, and try to attack it as soon as possible.
Okay, fair enough. So why is it then do most sellers, when they think about logistics, primarily focus on price? So what's more important than price? Because logistics can be sort of a commodity in my experience, but there are other things that go along with this, like visibility and flexible payment terms and things like that. What should Amazon sellers specifically, Amit, be focusing on outside of price?
Right. So first of all, I 100% agree. So pricing is the key. Like eventually we are service providers. We're doing basically same process, right? Let's say like the most of Amazon sellers produce or manufacture in China and ship to Amazon USA, right? So whatever freight forwarder you choose, most likely will know to do the ordinary stuff, right? Pick up from a supplier in China and bring it to FBA. So what's really the difference and why to choose Probox, my company, or another company? So in my opinion, beside being competitive in the cost, it's all about flexibility, it's all about transparency, and it's all about solving problems. So in my opinion, the key factor that you have to looking for is to have a good communication with your freight forwarder, because in my opinion, saving cost on the logistics is not about a specific shipment, it's a lot behind the scene, meaning when to start production, which service level to choose, making the right due diligence on the HTS code and the duty tariff, and we have a great story to share on that.
I can't wait to hear it. What did you said? You said communication, visibility, cost, and what else?
Transparency and flexibility and good communication with your forwarder. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm sure some of the listeners here working with Chinese forwarders, that's just a simple fact, right? So I'm not against working with Chinese forwarders, but you have to identify that it's maybe good if you are 5 or 6 figure seller, but if you are a 7 or 8 figure seller and you want to have a successful logistics chain, and this, by the way, logistics chain becoming critical or more complex throughout the years. So 2016, 17, it was quite easy. Then we had the huge congestion at LA Port during the pandemic. And now it's all about managing your supply chain. So without having a good communication with your forwarder, without having a great transparency on your cargo positioning, location, status, and so on, there is no way you're going to be successful. So if you ask me,
let me ask you, what is the one thing that you wish all new clients were already aware of and you didn't have to teach them when they come on board with Probox? Like what one thing do you wish you didn't have to explain so that we can put that out there, what folks need to be focusing on? Like if I come to you as a new client, you have to spend so much time bringing me up to speed in your industry. What's that one thing that you wish sellers already knew and understood before they come to Probox?
So in my opinion, it's 3 things. First of all, it's understanding commercial terms. What does it mean X-Works? What does it mean FOB? What does it mean DDU?
Commercial terms, you're saying?
Commercial terms, yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Do you have
second one
on commercial terms? Like we get caught up FOB price, EXW price, and things like that. If you have a cheat sheet, we would love to share it with our audience on knowing and understanding the most common commercial terms. When I first started importing, my import broker just said, "Hey, we need a commercial invoice, a packing list." I said, "What the heck is that?" This is 25 years ago. I don't know what it is, but as sellers, we don't know what we don't know. Is there a resource you can share? We can add
absolutely. There is a lot of resources, and I will share it with your audience. We have like a blog article on that in our website, and we also have like kind of a sheet that we can share with your audience. So yeah, absolutely we'll do.
Okay.
The only thing I said that it's, in my opinion, it's important because this is really the basic of commercial, not even talking about freight forwarding. This is the basic of commercial business. Without knowing what's the difference between XWorks and FOB, who has any ability on what stage or whatsoever, you have no chance to have successful like commercial business, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is understand and check your HTS code and duty percentage, and for that I will give you a great story. Lately there is like US custom very strict in regard of anti-dumping products. I don't want to start and explain what does it mean, but in general the US government specify a specific product that they want to have more manufacturing and control the manufacturer in USA. So for that specific product, they add a huge duty percentage on those specific products. So we had some clients that specific manufacture notebook with lines, and this apparently has like this classified as anti-dumping, and those sellers didn't know that. They start in production the product. They contact us after the product was ready, and then we come and say to them, listen guys, there is like anti-dumping, and it's about like the total duty is about 298%. So figure about like a seller, an Amazon seller, take all of his, saving or part of his saving, put, 10,000, 30,000, 50,000, whatever with his own funding, put his own money, thinking, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire, I'm going to have a successful brand on Amazon after 3 years, I'm going to make an exit, and then boom, you got a strong like stop sign, right? A red flag, a huge red flag, and say, hey man, and then you get like you understand immediately that this product you can throw away. So you waste time, you waste a lot of money, and you get a huge despair. So that's, in my opinion, checking and identify the HTS code with your freight forwarder is super, super, super critical. And that's before even you go into manufacturing.
Yeah, this is really good advice, Amit. So you deal with a lot of Amazon sellers every day, right? Helping them move their products from, suppliers to distribution. So where is it that most sellers could pick up more profit today? I know you said 2020, 2021, we had a lot of congestion. Today's a little bit different of a story, right? So where can people pick up more profit today?
So the shipping costs in general these days are super, super low. So just to give you a perspective on the cost, right? If you're talking full container now, 40 high cube, port to port only, during 2021, mid 2022, the cost was almost reached to like about $18,000 to $20,000 ocean freight port to port only. I'm sure you guys are aware of that. These days is about $2,000. So the drop is just crazy. So I would say that overall now, the shipping cost is quite stable and good. But if you ask me where you can save cost, so it's basically all about like when you start production and what type of service you choose. Because in many cases, I see sellers that had some problems in the manufacturing or didn't know exactly their selling velocity and start production line quite late. And in that case, they have rather to ship part of the inventory by air or part of the inventory by sea super express, and that had much higher cost compared to shipping by regular sea, so to speak. So in my opinion, if you ask me where you can save cost, is to ship basically every month, 2 months, whatever, ship regular shipment with significant volume, and there you will be able to save, in my opinion, the majority of your costs. Because if you're going to start shipping by air, paying thousands of dollars, or just to give you an example, if you take a shipment now from Ningbo to ONTH, let's say in Los Angeles, average cost per CBM would be something between $100 to $120 per cubic meter. But if you have to choose Super Express because you're late in production and you don't have inventory in stock, so you're going to pay $200 to $250 per CBM, right? So it's almost double. So there is the key point where you can save money.
Yeah, this is really good. So, Amit, let's go ahead and transition to our favorite part of the show, which is, you've been in business since you were basically born. You were born on a cargo ship, right? Right into the
Yeah.
logistics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got a lot of experience, but maybe you've picked up some nuggets along the way. So, what is your all-time favorite business book?
Ooh. Wow. That's a tricky one.
Is he tapping over there?
No, yeah. No, I have nothing. I have nothing. I'm
All right.
completely
Well,
blank now. Sorry.
good job,
Sorry.
Seth. Let's talk about
Yeah.
this something that you have special that you created for our listeners, and that is that if they're listening to this podcast, you can provide $200 for the first shipping with ProBox, right? Free compliance to
Right.
verify one product HTS code, which is super important because you definitely don't want the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol on your butt trying to clear something
No.
under the wrong code. So, how can people take advantage of this? Do we just go to your website at probox.co?
Yeah, they can just enter into our website. There is we have an app, right? You can enter, you can sign up to our portal, generate an RFQ, and you got a coupon code and everything, and you will be okay.
I have a feeling, Seth, this guy's never read a business book in his life, or he'd have been like this. So, what's the last book you read, Amit?
Hey, the best business book you can read is Just to Do Business, right?
Just to Do Business. Okay.
Yeah,
like
you're learning the best
right?
from doing business. That's my opinion.
I love this, Amit, because so many people out there in our industry are trying to teach yoga through a video or a webinar, and you can't do that. That takes hands-on experience, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't teach yoga with a lecture. And I think
No.
business is similar. So you have to get your feet dirty. You have to get your hands dirty, get your feet wet a little bit, and jump in and start making mistakes. So since you were born on a cargo ship and was conceived in the logistics business, what is in the last 12 months something that you purchased that may seem like a splurge? Maybe you spent money you shouldn't have on it, but to you definitely don't regret it. What's your favorite purchase in the last 12 months?
So I don't have it in my hand, but watch. Normally, watches and clothes in general. That's my biggest thing, and watches in general. That's my biggest priority.
So which watch did you just purchase? Seth loves watches, even though he doesn't wear one.
So I bought no. What's?
Oh, there's a 4-letter word, so we have to tick the box now.
No. This I have to. Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo is the
Okay, well, how much was the watch?
It's about $5,000.
$5,000 watch. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Okay, I got to see this one. I stopped wearing watches when I started carrying a smartphone, but maybe I should get back into it.
It's not the same. It's not the same. It will never be the same.
But my watches are not watches. They're considered jewelry. They just look pretty. And the only watch I wear is an Apple Watch when we're working out. So you can't remember what you just bought.
No. I do remember, but you have to give me what? You know what?
I love it.
What's the brand? Why?
I'm gonna have to pull up your credit card.
I can bring it for my bathroom if you really want.
Okay, I'm just curious. You must not like it so well if you can't remember what it is.
No, I like it too much. Believe me. Wow, what's the brand?
It's I used to be watches, and my wife was shoes and handbags. So I gave up watches, but she still buys shoes and handbags every day, even though you can only wear one pair at a time.
If you consider this kind of a jewelry, so you understand this is real, but
I understand. Believe me. So
nevertheless, I will find it.
So any words of advice while you're looking that up for sellers out there who are just starting to navigate the waters of logistics, pun intended?
Yeah, study that. Meaning you as an Amazon seller, you really expert in so many fields, but you always say to yourself, hey, logistics is something that I really don't like. I will give it to my supplier. I will give it to whatever freight forwarder. It will be okay. I think that's totally wrong assumption. You study PPC and you study marketing and you study whatever. I don't say you have to be like a freight forwarder or professional like a freight forwarder, but you have to know the basic, right? So study the basic, try to use the freight forwarder that you're talking with, their expert, talking with them, try to learn the subject and be professional in what you do.
I love it. Seth, wrap us up, and then we're going to chat with you. So don't go anywhere after you see the outro, okay?
I'm not going anywhere because I have to give you like an answer about the watch, and it's getting me fucking crazy. And again, sorry about my language.
So make sure you tick the box that this is not family friendly, May, when you go produce this episode.
All right, guys. So Amit, thank you so much for coming on and sharing just a tiny bit of your wisdom. Where should people go and find out more about you?
You can find me in LinkedIn. You can find me in Facebook. You can find me, of course, in our website. I'm all over. So yeah, LinkedIn at Amit Rosenthal, Facebook Amit Rosenthal, Probox, the company, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. So all over.
All right, very good. So Amit, thank you so much for being a guest on the Post-Purchase Podcast.
Post-Purchase Podcast.
I am one of your co-hosts, Seth Stevens, along with Mr. Sean Hart.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Don't go anywhere, Amit.